Yo, what's going on, guys? And today, of course, we got to talk about how great Zack Edey has been for this Grizzlies squad. And I personally think this is a battle that they should, be praising that a win in a season that's starting to slowly turn around. And albeit their biggest, detriment outside of the Isalo, Isalo or Isalo? It's Iisalo, I've heard people say recently. Either way, outside of the Ja Morant drama that seems to happen at least once a year, let's break down like we're drawing up a game plan. What we're seeing in Memphis isn't an accident. It's architecture. Zack Edey has gone from someone that people deemed a potential project to a franchise pillar. I wouldn't say cornerstone, but someone that they deem integral. And he's doing it by executing the exact blueprint that head coach Tuomas Iisalo is laid out. And this isn't just a hot streak. This is the system turning a unique weapon into the team's building block alongside, hopefully, Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. in the process. So let's start with the numbers because they don't lie. Since Edey returned from the ankle surgery on November 15th, the Memphis Grizzlies' entire identity has shifted. I really feel like this has been a tale of two teams. And look at the Sacramento game, 32 points, 17 rebounds, 16 of 20 from the floor in 29 minutes. That's utter dominance. But it's the advanced metrics that's the real story. A plus 39 in a close game against New Orleans. That's amazing. It means when Zack Edey's on the floor, the Grizzlies aren't just winning possessions, they're building insurmountable leads that it just makes winning easier. And he's doing this while Ja's been out with a calf injury, proving that his production isn't just a byproduct of star creation. He's generating offense for himself and for others. And the impact is most visible in the paint. Before his return, this team was ranked 26 in points in the paint. That's a failure for a franchise that led the league in the category for years with Jonas Valanciunas, Steven Adams, and obviously Ja Morant loving his paint touches. But since November 15th, they're averaging 15.5 offensive rebounds a game, out-rebounding opponents by nearly 13 per game. And I've always said offensive rebounds, just rebounds in general, allow you to physically impose your will against your opponent. And when you physically impose your will against your opponent, you demoralize them. They're just like, how do I beat this guy? How do I beat this guy? They just keep beating me. They keep beating me. And not just that, it creates second chance opportunities by, putbacks or, kickouts to open three-point shooters. And it also, on the defensive side, it starts fast breaks and, allows you to have a quick and better transition game. So to me, that's one of the biggest things. And look, I think that's just a structural fix. It's not flashy, but it's, I think, foundational. In football, you build from the trenches. I think in basketball, you got to build from the boards. And it's no coincidence this rebounding average jumped from 7.6 under Taylor Jenkins to now with Tuomas Iisalo averaging almost 14 boards a game. I think this system is putting him in a position to succeed. And now with the core, this is where it gets really interesting due to the fact that Jaren Jackson Jr. and him are a perfect fit, especially with Santi Aldama and the rest of the core. I really do enjoy the fact that this is a squad that is looking like they could make the most out of just being big. And I think being big is one of the biggest things. Is that Edey is a liberation. Edey's size and the fact that he has almost a 10-foot standing reach is something that allows him to take the primary assignment against the league's bruising centers, that being Jokic. And if Embiid's healthy, we mentioned Jonas Valanciunas, Steven Adams, Alperen Sengun, Domantas Sabonis, and that frees up Triple J to be this weak side disruptor. And the former defensive player of the year is meant to be this free safety who gets to play and clean up the rim when guards get blown by instead of wearing down a wrestling match every night against the most grueling players. And then for Ja Morant, he's a runway. He's this immovable high gravity screener who's a vertical spacer. For anybody who doesn't know that, because of his size and all that, he pulls the defenses out of the paint or sucks them into the paint. It creates the space for either to drive or for three-point shooting. That's the other great thing about this, is that for Ja Morant, when he comes back, you remember what he was able to do with Steven Adams, who set the kind of bone-jarring picks and created the lanes for him to take off. And Zack Edey is going to be able to do that, and he rolls hard. He's got great hands, and he's got solid touch, and he forces the defenses into a no-win situation. They're either going to be committing to Ja driving to the rim, or they're going to have to give up the lob or an open three to either Cedric Howard or Jalen Wells or Jaren Jackson Jr. or one of the other shooters, because they're actually, if they're healthy, they have a bunch of shooters, Contavious Caldwell-Pope, and Zack Edey actually draws fouls. He can put the opposing team in the bonus early, which changes the entire math for every Grizzly driver. People talk about spacey, but Edey creates it through contradiction. That's called inverted spacing. I mean, maybe one day he shoots threes, but right now he's not a three-point shooter. And he's extremely interior gravity, demands a defensive collapse, which creates that inverted spacing. That pull helps by taking the help away, and it creates, in my opinion, a real functioning spacing for shooters like Triple J, Cedric Howard, Contavious Caldwell-Pope. Obviously, when Ty Jerome's healthy, Santi Aldama, and Vincent Williams, and whoever it'll be, by basically pulling away help, creating floor spacing. So you have 5 guys standing around, or really 4 out at times, in the three-point line. And this is all by Iisalo's design. His system, if you even go back to what he was doing at Paris Basket, is built on pace, coherence, and target hunting. And Edey is the ultimate interior target. The offense runs actions, 4-2 pin series, ball screens designed to hunt him in high percentage areas. Defensively, Iisalo demands that the Grizzlies, quote, be good at things which happen most, end quote, which is pick and roll defense. And he's coaching Zack Edey to be like the ultimate like drop big in these, and we've seen like drop coverage is being great for these pick and roll situations, to play closer at the level of the screener, but then also be able to drop quickly to aggressively disrupt the ball handler early. And it's kind of this like specialized drop coverage that requires discipline and a trust in Triple J being the weak side rim protector as like the last man resort. And Iisalo has already been publicly coaching him on this and critiquing his pick and roll defense early in the Lakers game, showing that this is a deliberate focus of the team's development. So to me, I think that's just a good coaching, and we've known Iisalo being able to do this. And looking at the rest of the roster, Edey's emergence solidifies him as the starting center. Then Triple J's back to his natural power forward position, and they kind of like Santi Aldama playing, you know, either 6-man or like the combo forward to be huge. And they have Cedric Howard and obviously Jalen Wells and Contavious Caldwell-Pope. So when Brandon Clark comes back, Iisalo is just going to have like a bunch of different looks. So to me, I think they've really done a good job of building this Grizzlies identity to be a daunting, gritty team that is able to either play pushing the pace or play massive. And for the most part, I think they want to play massive, as he's restored the paint scoring, the rim protection that they wanted. And he's mastering Iisalo's aggressive coverage scheme, which I think is the new defense, and he's developing his short roll pass as the defense collapse on him. Edey's being able to read and find cutters and shooters, and then being able to play fast has been huge. And Edey, which a lot of people, when you would see someone as mammoth as he is, would not think a behemoth could move as quick as he does, and to a lot of people's surprise, he moves well. So bottom line, I think Zack Edey is the team's anchor. He's a structural piece, and he lets the star shine, and he executes the coach's vision. I don't think this is a surprise that things are working out to Iisalo and maybe Zach Kleiman's liking. And the Grizzlies' ceiling, I think, is looking better than what people would have suggested. That's where I want to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments.
By the way, is it Iisalo or Iisalo?
I'm pretty sure it's Iisalo. I thought it was Iisalo
when he first started out with the team, but I've heard other sports journalists and pundits say Iisalo, so that's why I said Iisalo.
By the way, the Memphis Grizzlies, if the New Orleans Pelicans are the poster child for terrible like health
luck. And that one might be the result of just lack of assets. The Grizzlies might actually have the worst injury luck in the NBA. And it's been going on for the last several years, ever since they had those back-to-back 2 seats finishes. With Zack Edey, he's obviously always been an anomaly. And to me, I, for one, have thoroughly been impressed by, I mean, I said it during the combine, he moves way better than you would think. And going back to the Grizzlies injuries, this is a team that, let me just read you their injury report as right now. I was there, and I was the one who reported Ty Jerome being hurt, and he's out with that calf injury still. Ja Morant, Javon Small, Brandon Clark, Scottie Pippen Jr. Like, older guards are hurt. The only team with worst guard play at this point is the Dallas Mavericks. And the Dallas Mavericks chose to do that, while the Grizzlies went out and tried to fix their guard problem, but they weren't able. I mean, I wouldn't even say they weren't able to. It's more so they had a plan, and that plan is not going to according to plan due to the fact the health situation is that bad. So if you made it to the end of the video, let me hear your thoughts down below. Like, comment, and subscribe.